And welcome to another episode of Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty of sports going in and around Bulloch County this past week. You had Fred McGriff in town, former Atlanta Brave great for the evening with the All-Stars for Georgia Southern. We'll hear from him in a little while. We also had the Bulloch Academy Gators wrestling team capturing their 7th straight region title as they prepare for state and looking for the four-peat there. We had a chance to talk with Andy Tomlin, their head coach, and have some highlights from their region meet. As for the Georgia Southern Eagle basketball teams, they both were swept this past Thursday after getting back home after being on the road for quite a while. They both lost to Texas State. The guys losing a heartbreaker. Tukey Brown's attempt at the buzzer fell short, and the Eagles end up losing that one by 1 point. But then they both were able to bounce back. For the women, their first win of the season in the Sun Belt. For the guys, a pretty lopsided win considering they were losing most of the first half, but came back to knock off UT Arlington. We'll have highlights of all those games for you in just a little bit, as well as on the high school front where the Statesboro Blue Devils traveled to Southeast Bulloch for a battle of Bulloch County. Ended up not being much of a battle as Statesboro won pretty handily for the boys and the girls. They have region games coming up this week that will decide whether they're the region champs or not and whether they'll host the region or not. And as for the Portal Panthers, they were able to split this past Saturday with Jenkins County. The girls lost a tough one in overtime, and the boys ended up winning pretty handily in that one as they pulled away in the second half. We'll have highlights of a lot of these things for you coming up in just a moment. We'd like to remind you before we go to break, for any legal advice you may have in the Statesboro Bulloch County area, we have the man for you to call, Levitt Bennett Jr., attorney at law, PC. Levitt's office located in downtown Statesboro.
Babcock, no credit refused isn't just an offer, it's a way of business and has been for over 100 years. No banks, no ridiculous credit requirements, just local Babcock store owners who treat you right and give you credit when others won't. It's never been easier to express your style and love your home.
So the Georgia Southern men's and women's basketball team both have been on the road for a while. For the guys, 9 of their last 11 games were played away from Hanner Fieldhouse this past Thursday and Saturday. They were able to come back and the crowd came out, had an exciting games both nights. For the guys, a heartbreaker that they lost on Thursday to Texas State. Typically been a very low scoring game. In fact, last year it was 40-34, but the Eagles and Bobcats played a pretty high scoring game, and this one came down the wire. Tukey Brown unable to get it to go, and the Eagles end up losing, but they were able to rebound, knocking off UT Arlington, who has a couple of guys that may be playing on the next level in the NBA for their team, and Georgia Southern pulls away there in the second half for the victory. For the women, it was their first win in the Sun Belt on the season. Let's get out and see some highlights from Texas State and from UT Arlington. First or two at Hanner Fieldhouse, Georgia Southern hosting Texas State. And the Bobcats' Tasha Levitt with the three-pointer. The Eagles try to answer as Amira Outwater gets the runner to fall. Haley Diaz-Allen with the steal, and she's able to go coast to coast. The Bobcats answer with Tierra Pitts inside. Texas State up 40-34 at the half. In the second half, Atwater comes up with 3 more of her 11 points in the game. Diaz-Allen 2 more of her 12. Rian Beeman will add a 3 from the near side here. but Texas State goes on to outscore the Eagles 29-7 in the third. Pitts inside for a couple of more, and the Eagles fall in this one 81-56. Battle for second place in the Sun Belt, Georgia Southern and Texas State bombs away for the Bobcats early on. Nigel Pearson with the three. Bobcats up 10-2. Tyler Blunt adds three. The lead extended to 12. The Eagles come back. Tukey Brown showing no ill effects from his concussion that kept him out recently. He'll score a couple, get this one off the backboard. Again, the Bobcats right back, going up by 13. Tukey taking it to the basket a couple more times. He'd end up with a game-high 25 points. Nice reverse. Brown to McConnell then for a reverse of his own. Monte Glenn gets this hook shot to fall in the lane. He'd have 10 points and 8 rebounds. The Bobcats connecting on 6 3-pointers in the first half. The Eagles, meanwhile, 2 for 21 in the game. Ike Smith with this one. David Jones will add the jumper in the lane. Tukey, the tough left-handed finish here. The Eagles within 2, but despite a great effort from Tukey, the Eagles still trailed by a count of 35-32 at the half. We move to the second half. McConnell off the rebound with the putback. He'd have 10 points. Glenn then on a rare inside pass to Tukey for 2. Eagles by 5. McConnell later with the follow-up jam. Texas State responds. A 3 by Alex Peacock after Georgia Southern was up by 8. They cut it to 5. And then check out this. Mike Hughes with authority. The crowd continuing to cheer as Glenn will hit for 2 more. Eagles maintain a 5-point lead. McConnell driving in for 2. But Texas State answers. Pearson, 3 more of his 22 in the game. The Eagles up 2, and a tough call here as the phantom foul and the basket counts for Trey Nottingham. Bobcats tie it up. Later looks like the same play, but a foul called on the floor. The Eagles get a good look with 24 seconds left. But Jake Alsmiller off the mark. Texas State gets the ball. Alsmiller called for a block. Nottingham hits 1 of 2. Texas State up 1. Less than 4 to go. Tukey will get off a good shot, but it'll rim out. And the Eagles fall 62-61. We move to Saturday, and after the women pulled off the upset, a great crowd for the men in UT Arlington. The Mavericks on fire early, using their size advantage to build an 11-1 lead. Future NBAer Kevin Hervey showing out for the Eagle fans. The step back 2, then the 3 and the foul. UTA up by 10, but Mark Byington able to settle the Eagles down, and they'd come back. Coy Simmons with the fadeaway jumper. Quan Jackson will pull up to hit for 2 of his 12. Hervey back on the other end with the slam. He'd finish with a game-high 29 points. Mike Hughes off the mark, but Monte Glenn there for the putback for Georgia Southern. No surprise, Tukey Brown leading the comeback. He'd finish with 23 points. More from Glenn. A nice move coming up here, getting inside for the reverse. Jackson later, the only 3 for the Eagles in the first half. Hervey keeping the Mavericks in it with shots like this one. But the Eagles storm back in the second half, outscoring Arlington 45-28 as they win easily, 74-59, the final from Hanner Fieldhouse. All right, up next for Georgia Southern on the road Thursday and Saturday at Arkansas State and Arkansas Little Rock. Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll head out to Bulloch Academy for some wrestling action.
To stay ahead, a parent has to really be on the go and stop for school, stop for sports, stop for an intervention. But you don't have to stop for banking. To stay ahead with mobile online banking, bank ahead with Queensboro National Bank and Trust.
See Jeremy Reagan and the staff at Queensboro National Bank and Trust, South Main Street in Statesboro. A sports injury can stop you in your tracks. At Optum Orthopedics, our specialized physicians and staff use advanced orthopedic procedures with one specific goal in mind: to get you back to you. If you have a sports injury, request an evaluation. Experience the Optum difference.
Lee Hill and Johnston Insurers. We've been Statesboro's insurance people since 1963. That's a lot of memories. Recognized as one of the leading agencies in Georgia, Lee Hill and Johnston is independent and offers a complete line of personal and business insurance for auto, life, home, and health. We'll shop companies to find the lowest premiums and best coverage for you, your family, or your business. Lee Hill and Johnston Insurers, the insurance people since 1963.
Well, the Bulloch Academy Gator wrestling team, one of the more successful sports teams in our area over the past 10 years or so. In fact, for the last 7 years, they've won the region championship, and they'll be going for their 4th straight state tournament championship coming up this weekend on Friday and Saturday. We had a chance to talk with Andy Tomlin after the Gators had captured their 7th straight region title this past weekend.
Everybody came out tonight to see, just what a culture we've built here. You can't keep winning like we've won without having a program in place. And a lot of these guys, these senior boys, I've had them for almost 10 years and more in some cases. They're like children of my own. So, it's a huge accomplishment for me as a coach, but it's even bigger accomplishment for our kids and the parents who have put in countless hours of sitting in the stands and going to tournaments all Saturday long, and having to get a kid or convince a kid to make weight and diet and train and all that stuff. So we're excited. It's the better part of a decade, if you think about it, and it's I had to kind of take a moment and take it all in today. Last year was great, 2 years ago was awesome, winning 5 in a row, but 7 in a row is really is definitely special. So we're blessed, and we're just going to keep on working.
Next up is looking for a 4-peat.
Absolutely. Next step is a 4-peat, and if that is the case, and we go out there and we work hard and we take care of what we need to take care of. We've got some great seeds. We've got a pile of region champs who are going to be a number 1 seed. Got a pile of number 2s. Got a 3rd. Everybody qualified, so we're going to take 14 to the state tournament, and it's going to be awesome.
So congratulations to the Gators, who will be on the road for Friday and Saturday for the state tournament, where they are hoping to bring back their 4th straight state title. Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll head to the hardwood for area basketball. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, providing primary care for Statesboro area patients since 1998, providing complete physicals, complete sports physicals, Medicare wellness exams, full diabetes treatment, and education from lifestyle changes to oral medications to insulin pump therapy. In-house dermatology, in-house circulation tests and ultrasounds, in-house lab. And introducing our new nurse practitioner, Melissa Beasley, as we now accommodate same-day or next-day appointments to serve your needs. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, where we care.
The Medical Center Pharmacy on Grenade Street is proud to be your Health Mart pharmacy in Statesboro. The Medical Center Pharmacy, locally owned and serving this community for 50 years, is open 364 days a year. The pharmacists at Medical Center know there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. That's why they take the time to know their customers, explain their medications, and answer any questions. The Medical Center Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Well, area basketballs, believe it or not, are starting to wrap up. The region's tournaments will begin as soon as next week for the Statesboro Blue Devils. This past weekend, Statesboro and Southeast Bulloch wrapping up their series they played earlier in the year at Statesboro, where the boys from Southeast Bulloch put up quite a battle before ended up falling in that one by 13 points. This time around, they put up a fight for about a quarter, and then Statesboro kind of went on a run in the second quarter and never looked back. For the girls, it was never in doubt. Statesboro in command throughout. Let's get out and see some highlights from Brooklet from Statesboro and Southeast Bulloch. Battle of Bulloch County, Southeast Bulloch hosting Statesboro High. We picked things up in the girls' game in the first half, and it's the home team. Aaliyah Sandiford going strong, gets the friendly home bounce. Lacey Robbins answers for Statesboro with the corner three. A hot game for Lacey Robbins. She hits the pull-up jumper. Blue Devils by 11. Lacey then the nice moves on the baseline and hits this runner. Bailey Roberts then coming up with the rebound and the putback. She'd have 11 points. Lacey comes up with 3. She finished with 25 in the game. Destiny Hartwell, 14 points for the Blue Devils. Meanwhile, Sandifer fighting on the other end, trying to keep Southeast in it with the putback. Robbins then finds Hartwell underneath. 41-19 Statesboro at the half. In the second half, Kristen Turner with the three-pointer. McKinley Fields will add the bank shot here. But this is just too much Blue Devils. Lacey with the layup. A 32-point lead. Jordan Williams then with the 3, and Statesboro rolls 70-36 the final. To the boys' game we go. Blue Devils looking to keep rolling, and Southeast looking for their first win of the season. Statesboro driving early on, Trey Burns. Then it's Tyler Goodman going in. And then Daniel Cooper driving and finding a lane. Cooper will then come up with the baseline jumper. Southeast trying to keep things close as Tyler Bailey off the Ryan Swanson pass inside. Jordan Bradford then to Bryant Stevens, who makes the layup. Zarion Griffin on the other end. The 3 coming up at the buzzer after the layup. 15-7 Statesboro after 1. Southeast trying to keep it close. Jordan Bradford for 3. And then Statesboro right back. 3-point play for Joe Burns. A deep 3 from Ryan Swanson for Southeast, followed by the corner 3 by Bryce Stevens. He finished with 11 points. Statesboro back. Jalen Hicks somehow manages to get the home bounce on the road and the foul. Burns then 2 more of his 16 points in the game. Statesboro up 30-21 at the half. And they pull away in the third. Cooper for 3. He'd finished with 25 points. Zarion Griffin, the pull-up jumper. Cooper for 2 more. Driving to the basket. Southeast undermanned as they only had 7 dressing out in this one. Griffin, after the Cooper basket, Griffin with the pull-up jumper. Statesboro on a 23-2 run. Bryce Stevens will try after this Trey Burns layup on the other end. Stevens will try to get Southeast close with the layup. But Burns and Blue Devils too much. Cooper then goes in for the layup. More from the Blue Devils. Trey Burns driving once again. Cooper finding a lane and going to the basket. And Zarion Griffin off the mark, but Burns there for the putback. Statesboro wins 71-40. Next up for Statesboro, they'll be home versus Ware County on Tuesday and then wrap things up at New Hampstead on Saturday. Big games as the girls look to knock off the top team in Ware County, and the boys hope to knock off New Hampstead. If they win, they'll be hosting the region this next week. All right, well, as for the Portal Panthers, they had a big region game this weekend. They were playing host to Jenkins County, a packed house. Exciting game. The girls looking for only their second win of the year, went into overtime. And for the boys, Jenkins County gave them a battle once again. Portal hosting Jenkins County on Saturday night, ladies first, and this one going back and forth throughout the game. Colby Moats ahead, finds this one off the backboard. Janae Evans then on the other end, the hoop and the foul. Jenkins County Portal answers with Yami Brown, tying it up. Tamia Plummer answers on the other end. And the game would end up back and forth. Portal responds, but Jenkins County hits for two just before the end of the regulation, and we go to overtime, tied at 28. In OT, two big plays from the Eagles. First the three, and then on the inbounds, Portal having trouble. It'll come up with an Eagles steal and a layup, and they'd fall in overtime 38-30. To the boys game we go. Despite only winning 5 games on the season, Jenkins County always ready to take on Portal. Off the rebound, it's Markeith Wright with the putback. Portal will answer. Connor Washington hits the three. Later, it's Craig Ware fighting his way up for the bucket on inside. The Eagles back. Keandre Kelly for three. Portal coming back. And Washington with the putback. More from the game is the Eagles with the rebound and the putback for Jenkins County, keeping it close. Portal trying to pull away. Devontae Brown from the top of the key. Later, it's the steal by Brian Ware, who goes in for 2 of his 12. Portal wins 61-53. And stay with us. Coming up next, we'll hear from former Atlanta Brave great Fred McGriff.
Hey, Miss Thompson. Everything's fine. It's going to be no problem. I'll have you done in a few minutes.
My name is Paisley Nordhoff, part owner of Complete Car Care, and I want you to come see me.
Well, no big surprise that the Atlanta Braves former third baseman Chipper Jones went into the Hall of Fame, or will be. He was nominated and then, of course, was selected easily this past week, going into the Hall of Fame to join the likes of John Smoltz and others. Will Fred McGriff be the next Brave? Well, we had a chance to talk with him as he was in town for the Georgia Southern Evening with the All-Stars this past week.
Oh, no question. I agree. But I've been blessed. For me, I exceeded all expectations. For me to hit 1 home run in the big leagues, it was awesome, let alone 493. And so I've been blessed in life, and hey, it's all good.
With Chipper Jones going into the Hall of Fame, many wonder who will be the next Brave. Dale Murphy still gets a lot of consideration, and then there is the crime dog, Fred McGriff. McGriff had 13 seasons with 20 or more home runs. He was at Georgia Southern for an evening with the All-Stars to help raise money for the Georgia Southern Dugout Club, and took time to talk to the Eagle baseball team earlier in the day.
Just mainly have some fun. You know, they had a great opportunity, great university and everything. So just have some fun playing the game of baseball, because it's still a game.
Choice to go in like you
was. Oh yeah, he's had a great career. Most home runs as a switch hitter. My numbers may not be right, but I think most home runs as a switch hitter, stuff like that. Played 20 years or so with the Braves and everything. So well deserved, great player.
What are you most home runs when that was a big deal? What are you most proud of as a player?
For me personally, just going out there consistently, day in and day out, and performing. Because knowing how hard it is to go out there and play every day, and knowing the pitchers are gunning for you every night, you know, and so you're trying to beat them, they're trying to beat you. So to be out there, to be able to go out there every single day, compete, have some success. I grew up in Tampa, Florida, got cut from my high school team. So for me, just to play in the big leagues, I mean, I'm proud of every moment of it.
You know, John, is that a driving force in your career?
Oh, no question. You know, I got cut from my high school team, you know, in the 10th grade. Tried out for the outfield, didn't make it, got cut. You know, and I could have quit. But in life, we all have failures all the time, but you got to get back up and you got to keep fighting. And so that had a big part in me keeping going.
Hopefully the Crime Dog is able to get on that ballot and get up there pretty soon. Nearly 500 career home runs. Like to see him get up there. All right, well, that'll wrap things up for now. Appreciate you joining us. We hope to see you again next week.